everybody. I'm a CME fill-in type of person. My name is Gabby, and I have recently been tasked with putting LED lights on an Airblade, so I'm making a video on how to do it. What you're gonna need is an Airblade, double stick tape. This brand, 3M, is really good for stuff like this, batteries, and LED lights, and scissors. So the brand of LED lights that I got are called XYOP LED light batteries powered RGB lights. I got the 2 meter, the 6.56 feet for 10 bucks. It doesn't really fit all the way, so I'm gonna go size up. So today I'm gonna be showing you how to go from this to this with lights on. So let's get started. This guy over here. So the first thing you want to do is unwrap your LED lights. So here you have your LED lights. It's going to take AAA batteries. So the first thing you want to do is put the batteries in. With battery packs like this, you can take the sticker off and choose not to. Just push your thumb down and it'll come out. Obviously put them in the way they go. It always takes a minute. And it'll immediately light up to show you that it works. So this brand, I've actually done this before with another brand, and I like this brand so much better. The LED lights come with like a silicone case on top, which is great because we'll be spinning outdoors, and it just makes everything feel tighter. And with the other one, we had a bit of electrical issues, and we haven't had that so far with these. So what I like to do is just take the tape off of the LED lights and get it completely unrolled, so you have an idea of how long you have and how it's going to lay out on the rifle. So your best bet, you have a good amount of space between the battery pack and the switch. The cool thing about this is some LED lights come with a remote. This one comes with a remote built into the LED lights, which is perfect for what we need here. Pick whatever side's gonna be the back of your rifle. I'm choosing this side as the back of my rifle. I have done a lot of thinking with things like this, and I think the battery pack is perfect right here. The reason why is because your typical spin spots around here, and right now the girls that I'm working with are newer, so they're going to be spinning more in here. And if you put it up here, you're going to get in the work of getting in the way of tossing. But down here is kind of perfect. It also makes it so things are more balanced than if you were to put it over here. So this just puts everything more centralized, and then you can have this stretch all the way over here so that the LED lights start here. So, I don't know about you, I am working with equipment that is going to be reused, and I don't know if when we reuse them we're going to be using the LED lights again. So what we're going to do is put tape down first over anywhere that we're going to be hot gluing. I have tried Velcro strips in the past. These are fantastic. I use these Command Velcro strips for everything. They hold so much. But because of the way that these spin and the weight of the battery pack, it just makes them fly off, and then it's not secure. So you're just better off hot gluing it from the start, but putting it in a way that you can later take the hot glue off without an issue. So you just take a little bit, cut a little strip, and you're going to place it kind of higher up on the rifle. Take a minute and peel off the back sticker, because like I said before, this is double stick tape. Forgive me, it's fighting with me. A little trash pile, and you want to take a time. It doesn't matter if you take away some of the stickiness from the tape, because like I said before, you're going to be hot gluing it. So hypothetically, our battery pack is going to go there, and our remote is going to go here. So we want another piece of tape for here. I'm just gonna take a second and even this out. Cut myself a new piece. Now place this on the top over here. Ringing endorsement of this tape, by the way, for college dorms and stuff like that. It's really good. It doesn't damage things. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our hot glue gun. I have a fancy one that comes apart. And you want to start with the battery pack. So I would choose to put this down on the side that does the... Yeah, let's see. Yep. I would choose to leave the side with the battery pack on the top with the sticky note. The only reason why is because this is the side that opens and you want to be able to really replace the battery. So you can also always take the note sticker off later. Put a hefty amount of hot glue. And don't be worried about the whole, you're hot gluing plastic with a battery on it. I've done it and I haven't gotten electrocuted, so maybe you should be a bit more wary, but if you're doing this, I feel like you kind of know what you're getting yourself into. Place that down. You want to hold it for a couple of seconds just to make sure that the hot glue really took. You want to put this on an angle. That'll help you in the long run. This way it's not too close to the bottom so it won't hinder your hand while spinning. And this is up at the top. Check to make sure the lights still work. I'm going to hot glue over here. This one you're going to want to hold down for a little while longer because it's a bit bendy. Again, when you're hot gluing, because of the way that everything is held together with the tape and just the product, there isn't ever, I haven't yet found an issue where the hot glue burns through the wiring. I didn't have a problem with that in my last one, and I said we had hot glue problems in the last one, but that was ironically fixed with hot glue. Alright, so moving forward, the one issue I do have with this is on the back side, if you've ever worked with LED lights before, this red strip doesn't stay. It is supposed to come off. So for this one, I've had an issue because I found that you don't really, you can see here there isn't a start. So you have to make your own. So I would just take your scissors, something more dull than a knife because you don't want to cut too hard through it, and just create a little perforation. And use any sort of nail. Make sure you're not lifting the glue, that you were just lifting the red tape that's over the glue. Might take you a minute. It does rip rather easily. There we go. So now you have that open. You do not want to take all the red off at once. Slowly take your LED, wrap to the rifle. You want to do this really slowly, kind of like you're unraveling a fruit roll-up, where you press and pull, and press and pull. I think you can kind of see here in the shot how good the like the silicone covering is, how thick it is, and how it's going to help. So most LED lights are set up so that if you get too long, you can cut along this bronze part. So that's why I would suggest maybe buying a longer one, so you can cut along the part and get the desired length you want instead of having to finagle your way around. So the reason why we're doing this slow, and you're going to see a little bit of bumps here and there, because the surface isn't even. Things like this are not built for turns. So you want to make it. And it has, the adhesives on this is really good, and anything that isn't super secure, you can always reinforce with hot glue. As long as you put the tape down first, everything should be fine. Even then, hot glue doesn't usually like intensely adhere to things, except for like maybe drywall. But your standard Airblade's not going to be made of drywall. Bring it around slowly. So as you come to the tip of the Airblade, you want to think about how much you have left. Because if you're like me and you bought the 2-meter one, you don't have a ton. So our remedy for this is we're going to cut it a little sooner and make this cute little pivot point. So we're going to try and replicate that on this one. Don't mind me. I'm going to put this next to this to make sure that my pivot points are the same, because the girls will be spinning this. There are only 2 girls in my guard, believe it or not. But I want them to be as uniform as possible. So we want to pivot here. We will revisit this later. So bring it down, pinch it, bring it down, pinch. That way it's pinched onto the rifle at both ends, but closer. Again, we will revisit this later. Right now, don't worry about that. I'm gonna flip this so it's more in my line of sight. Move anything in the way. Right. And we're gonna go back to, so here's a main issue that you might run into. Confidence. You might get to this point and be like, oh, I have it, but this part is thinner and a little bit harder. So you can remember to keep going slow and think about where you're placing things, because you don't want to be too far away from the edge, too close to the edge, any of that jazz. This side is a bit of a tighter curve, so you might have more bumps. Again, anything that is super not secure to the blade, you can always fix with hot glue and 3M tape. I wouldn't suggest fixing it with anything topical, because then you lose a lot of the light feature. But in a pinch, say things are falling apart and you're at a competition, you can always resort to electrical tape. You just have to make it uniform. Here we just make it to the end. If you want more of like a secure wrap, or one that goes back around the rifle or on both sides, again, I recommend buying the larger one. We're not done yet. Remember that pivot point we put down earlier? She needs to be revisited. So what you're gonna do from here is you're going to get your GM tape and you're gonna cut yourself a square. So before we had cut nice little rectangles, this time you want to cut a nice square, maybe even a trapezoid-like shape. Lift this carefully. Put this down. Now, if you know anything about Airblades, you know that there's a divot here. So try and just focus on smoothing out this. One of the best things about the silicone wrapping that we have here is that it's not going to hinder the performance of the LEDs when we bend, which is fantastic. Oh my goodness. If you don't have nails like I do, find somebody who does. Here we go. You're not done yet. Hope your hot glue gun's still hot. I'm gonna put 3 cute little dabs of hot glue. And press and hold. Get rid of any strings, just cause neatness. You want to kind of hold down so that it's like hinged, so you get most of the way. Hold it down for a couple of seconds and let that hot glue set. Good for us. The hot glue wasn't terribly hot, so it's going to set a little bit quicker than say if it was just recently hot. Problem with that is I'm probably going to have to hot glue this back down in the middle of the season, but that's fine. Adding hot glue to my garden instructor carrier set is not something I'm opposed to doing, and bam. So on the back here, just a little instruction on the product. We have 3 things. If you want to change the dimness, press the middle button. Hold the middle button if you'd like to turn it off. This changes the mode based on how it's blinking, and this can change the color. So let's take it and this mode, make it blink slower, a little bit faster, yada yada. Say we take it to a color. I'm a big fan of the purple. So then let's make it dim and back to bright. It's a little bit harder to figure out the buttons from not paying attention to it. And then you hold and turn it off and back on. And you can always turn it on and back off via the switch. So if this shouldn't cause you an issue, but if it does, just put a little bit of GM tape right there and hot glue it down. So that has been how to put LEDs on an Airblade by someone who does not do YouTube but is a garden instructor. So I hope this helps.